Somehow, for whatever reason, women's default standards have gotten so crazy over the past few years. People are just terminally online, absorbing their values from the internet through osmosis. Relationships that should have happened at any other point in human history. This is a world where our physical form is an interface for souls to connect with one another. And in the 21st century, people are literally rejecting someone's soul because their skeleton is too short. Kinda stupid, isn't it? We live in a world where for thousands and thousands of years, men who were 5 foot something were having sex with women who were 5 foot something, making babies who were 5 foot something. So why isn't this good enough anymore? For millennia, not only were shorter men completely worthy of having sex and building families, it was also completely normal for them to have sex and make families. Marrying and building a family with someone who was taller than 6 foot was a rare event. It was an exception. But it's not like tall men didn't exist. For thousands upon thousands of years, men who were taller than 6 foot have existed. If it were natural and normal for women to be so picky about height, then why weren't all the women going for tall men? Then why, 200 years ago, was the average height only 5'5"? Shouldn't men have been 6 foot tall by the 1800s? Shouldn't men have been 6'5" by now? The answer to this is actually simple. It is normal and natural to be attracted to people who are 5 foot something. What is actually unnatural is the fact that people have become so height obsessed lately. It's contrived and mostly a social phenomenon. Somehow, for whatever reason, women's default standards have gotten so crazy over the past few years. It has gotten to the point where entire groups of women have a 6 foot height requirement for men. If a woman in one of these social groups wakes up one day and decides to date a shorter man, does it mean she's less worthy to date a tall guy? If her friends won't date a 5'10" guy, and she decides that she will, does that mean she is less attractive than her friends? Does that mean she's less valuable? Is she less worthy of a tall guy? Is her face worse? Is her body worse? Or are her friends better than her? These are the mind games involved in social standards. But men aren't perfect. They do this too. Men will publicly say no to chubby women, even if they find them secretly attractive. Men will be reluctant to date someone they're truly attracted to, if their friends don't think she's attractive. Men are resistant to dating women over 30, and women who are single mothers, purely because there's new social standards set around these categories. Men used to love MILFs, but now everybody who's over 35 is. In the same way that women have gone height crazy over the past few years, men have become extra picky too, just in other ways. In both cases, it's not natural. People are just terminally online, absorbing their values from the internet through osmosis. Relationships that should have happened at any other point in human history are not happening right now because that man learned that he shouldn't be dating that woman, and that woman is not supposed to date this man. People need courage to pursue what they actually find attractive. But instead, they are entrenched in the effort of earning and keeping the validations of members of the same sex. So men, if you have problems truly understanding why women are so picky about height these days, then honestly think about how crazy standards have gotten for women over the past years. These are two sides to the same coin. This world is full of worthy and good people. It isn't a world full of skeletons. It's a world of souls. It's a world of souls who long to live their life together with another soul as their companion. Well, imagine rejecting someone's soul just because their skeleton was 4 centimeters too short. This happens every day, thousands upon thousands of times a day. This doesn't seem right, does it? How are so many family trees destined to end forever this generation because men on that family tree aren't tall enough? The problem is one of standards. People today have runaway standards, decoupled from reality. 5'9" people have been making babies throughout all human history, and suddenly, women from the 21st century have an outrageous requirement for men to be over 6 feet tall. This was never normal. It has been fashionable at times in human history for women to particularly care about a man's height, but it has never been such a universal requirement and such a cruel and merciless cut-off. This isn't an amusement park. This is a world where our physical form is an interface for souls to connect with one another. And in the 21st century, people are literally rejecting someone's soul because their skeleton is too short. Kinda stupid, isn't it?